Community Viewpoint with Maria Hurst.
Hi, welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm your host for this segment, Maria Hurst. And tonight I want to tell you about a place that I've been going for years and I love it. And if you've been watching this, you know, for years, you know that I like to bring you and share with you things that I love that I think you will love too. Also things that are a good deal. And living here in Pahrump, we have an advantage because we have a really great community and we have all the advantages of being in a small community, really close-knit, but we're not too far from everything else. We're not too far from Vegas. We're not too far from California. So we can get to a lot of places fairly quickly. We can get over to Vegas, you know, in about an hour. We can get to California in, 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on where you're going. Well, just recently I visited one of my favorite places, Knott's Berry Farm. They always come through with a wonderful, wonderful visit. So I want to share with you a little bit about the history of Knott's Berry Farm and just tell you that it's just super affordable. It's really nice. It's like you can go on a weekend from Pahrump, you can get back there and then you can get home, and it's pretty affordable and it's a really, really fun time. So first, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the history of Knott's Berry Farm and tell you that if you buy your tickets online, it's like $50 just to go for the day. You can go on a Friday night, Saturday morning, you go for the day and you have a really fun time. And let me tell you, the food was great. We also bought a food pass. It's $31.99 a person, and you can eat every 90 minutes. And the food was really good, so we did just about that. And there's lots of choices to choose from. You can go on knotts.com, but before we get to all that, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just trying to share a great, great experience that we had. And it's just a really fun place, and it's a historical place, really America's first theme park. So let me tell you about how they got started. So we're going to show you a picture. That is Knott's Berry Farm when they first started. So we're going to leave that picture up for just a minute. And I'm going to read to you what they have on their media center. Just a great, great history of this wonderful place. The year was 1920 when Walter and Cordelia Knott moved to the then sleepy community of Buena Park, California to farm 20 acres of rented land. Today, that land is part of a 160-acre lot, Knott's Berry Farm, America's first theme park and 12th most visited amusement park in the country. And while the Knott family no longer owns the venerable attraction, the Knott spirit of hard work and down-home hospitality lives on in the new owner Cedar Fair LP, who acquired Knott's Berry Farm in December of 1997. And it was a friendly acquisition, folks. The Knott's first winter on the farm was unseasonably cold, and much of their first crop was ruined by frost. But relying on his ability to make the most of what he had, Walter initiated his practice of selling directly to grocers, thus eliminating costly middlemen, and was able to realize a small profit. Walter's keen eye for sound enterprise and his dogged determination to succeed were attributes which became evident early in his boyhood years and remained solid through his life and career. His father died when he was 6, and by the time he was 9, Walter was raising vegetables on vacant lots, selling the produce in the morning before school and delivering newspapers in the evening to help supplement the payments. Walter bought an additional 10 acres at the lower price and spent the last of the family savings to build an adobe structure that became the farm's first permanent building. Ready for occupancy in 1928, the building was 80 feet long and housed a tea room, berry market, and a nursery where berry plants were sold. By now, the Knotts had 4 children, son Russell and daughters Virginia, Tony, and Marion. And working together, they formed a family bond that prevailed through the years. It was not until the 1930s that Walter became associated with the boysenberry, which would become the family trademark. Nearby, Anaheim Park Superintendent Rudolph Boysen had experimented with a new strain of berry, but the plants the plants kept dying on the vine. Walter took the scraggly plants, nurtured them to health, and named the new berry, a cross between a loganberry, a red raspberry, and a blackberry, after its originator, Rudolph Boysen. Today, all boysenberries in the world can trace their roots to Knott's Berry Farm. As another means of staving off depression hardships, Cordelia began selling jams and jellies made from Walter's berries. These were soon followed by home-baked pies, hot biscuits, and sandwiches. And let me tell you, we eat at the Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner restaurant quite regularly. And when we go to California, if you're just passing down the 5 freeway, you can get off and there's no admission. You can just go right to the marketplace and you can eat still today at Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner restaurant. And all the food is still made with her original recipes. And those biscuits are really good. And I'm not doing this show. This show is not sponsored by anybody. I'm just sharing it because I love this place and I know you will too. It is so much fun to go there. And you can still get Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner restaurant today. So we're gonna go to a picture of the first, that's Knott's Chicken Dinner restaurant today. Let's go back to that other picture. Yes, there it is. That is from the first time she started selling chicken dinners. People would line up down the street. On a night in June 1934, Cordelia served 8 fried chicken dinners on her wedding china for the all-inclusive price of 65 cents each. And the world's largest chicken dinner restaurant was born. Today, the Chicken Dinner restaurant seats more than 900 guests at a time, serves more than 1.5 million guests each year, and is the largest full-service restaurant that serves chicken as its main course. Let me get to my next notes here. The success of the chicken dinners was immediate, and by the 1940, the restaurant was serving as many as 4,000 dinners on Sunday evenings. To give waiting customers something to do and to pay homage to the pioneering spirit of his grandparents and his love of the Old West, Walter developed Ghost Town. There's a picture of the old Knott's Berry Farm right there. Isn't that awesome? And today you can actually walk around and see all of those buildings. Those buildings are still there. Okay, so let me read you about this. He developed Ghost Town, eventually the first of Knott's Berry Farm's 6 themed areas. The first structure was the Gold Trails Hotel, which had originally been constructed in Prescott, Arizona in 1868. Adhering to authenticity, Walter brought in other buildings from deserted ghost towns, and Knott's Ghost Town, and as it exists today, emerged. Excuse me. Additions were made as the years passed. In the 1960s, the Calico Mine Ride, the timber themed area opened in 1975. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Go back to me for a second. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm narrating what they have on their website. I lost my place because I'm reading from a place, and I have 5 minutes left. And I didn't bring a water up on the desk today. So I'm reading from their website, the history of Knott's Berry Farm. And I wanted to read it from there because I wanted every portion of what I'm reading to be accurate and right from Knott's. And it was so much fun. So we have 5 minutes left. So I just want to go through and show you the rest of the pictures we have. So there are some of the products that you can get today. Boysenberry barbecue sauce, which was on a pizza we ordered, which I'll show you a picture in just a minute. And there is 1975, that is the old Fiesta Village, and it looks pretty similar to that today. And you can still go there, and the food is great there. They have lots of really good Mexican restaurants there. There is Camp Snoopy, and that is now the home of Snoopy and his friends. This is amazing. This is another thing I want to share with you. So it's not that easy to just drive 5 hours and see some of America's history. So Knott's Berry Farm built a replica of Independence Hall, which is super, super awesome. So you can literally take your family and see a replica of Independence Hall and teach your kids. It can be a really educational trip. Most of the buildings in Knott's Berry Farm are historical, and there's a learning process. that you can go through and take your kids. It's really, really a fun trip. So it's fun, it's educational. I just love this place. Knott's Berry Farm. Oh, so let me just tell you about this picture right here, the geode shop. So when we were there, we were actually the last family to leave the park. We were literally the last family. We stayed in this shop. That's my favorite shop, one of my favorite shops in the world. I love that place. They have fossils. They have geodes. Geodes are like those rocks that are millions of years old, sliced in there, and they have all the crystals inside. You can actually buy one of those. They will put it in their special saw, close the lid, and cut it open, and you can be the first one to ever touch that geode, and they're about 38 million years old. It is a very cool place to go. They have fossils in there. There's also stuff that's not for sale in there, which is like dinosaur eggs and big, like giant geodes, like giant stuff with amethyst inside. Really, really cool stuff. You can get bookends that are petrified wood. You can get, I have several bookends that are geodes because those are some of my favorite things. So anyway, that is one of my favorite stores. And I'll show you some pictures of our trip since we just have a couple of minutes left. That is in the Knott's Berry Farm Marketplace. That is the fudge shop. Love, love that fudge. They make it homemade every day. They're right there at the park. You don't need it. You don't need to pay to go to the marketplace. That is just one of the pictures of the old schoolhouse. That is an awesome picture. There's right outside the schoolhouse too, and showing you some of the scenery around there. Right behind that is the Birdcage Theater. There is one of the historical trains, and Mr. and Mrs. Knott did a really good job at preserving some of America's history in the park. There's my daughter and I in front of one of the general stores with the Cigar Indian, and there's Roxy and Michael there. And there's Roxy and Michael with their giant pizza. And that pizza has the Knott's Berry Farm Boysenberry barbecue sauce on it. And that restaurant was inside the Knott's Berry Farm Hotel. It's called Amber Waves. So I hope that I've piqued your interest and you would want to go visit Knott's Berry Farm and I hope that you have so much fun. So you can go to their website, knotts.com, and check it out. It's a very affordable place to go, which is why I like to share really cool places with you that are affordable, fun, and that you will get a really good value for your money and have a really good time. And I hope that you have a great week. And thank you for having me talk to you about all this fun stuff. And have a great week. Bye-bye.
Community Viewpoint with Maria Hurst.